My dear brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ, today is the eighth Sunday of the ordinary time. Today's reading speaks about, in a special way, that Christianity is a culture of optimism. This is the last Sunday before we begin the Lenten season. Today we are ending up the Sermon on the Plains from the Gospel of Luke. Jesus creates a new culture, a new mindset. He's asking the people to reflect in a prophetic way of looking at the world, a new way of revolution of love, friendship, relationship, gentleness, and kindness. Jesus speaks about three specific concerns. First, the prejudice. Jesus tells, can a blind man lead another blind? Most of us live in blindness, and we do not want to open our eyes and accept others with optimism and confidence. We are also leading others to remain in the same blindness with our prejudices, preconceived negative ideas about others, about persons, about families, caste, creed, language, ethnicity, etc. If we forget to question these prejudices and pessimistic views, we lack reasoning. Hence, the book of Sirach tells us today in the first reading that the test of a person is in the reasoning. Oftentimes, a person's filthy thoughts are connected to negative emotions and lack of reasoning. Let us look deep into ourselves and get removed of all our prejudices. Most of us live in a multicultural context. While there are great advantages to learn from each other, we often end up in prejudices. A blind cannot lead another blind. Oftentimes, we take for granted what we see, what we observe, and what we hear, but we don't want to check the truth. Even though we come to the church and pray and meditate, even though we have our family prayers, we rarely are open to change our negative thinking about others. We are not able to see the world objectively in its right perspective. Due to our pessimistic attitude towards others, we fail to give others their due, their entitlements, and their opportunities to grow into well-being. The Holy Bible says innumerable times to change our mindset and come away from our pessimism. Today is yet another special call to change our prejudices. The second concern is blaming others. Jesus speaks about why do you speak and look at the speck in the other eye when you have a log on your own eye. This image reminds us about blaming others while we ourselves have load of negatives on ourselves. We easily blame others, make negative and sarcastic remarks, speak aloud negatively on others while we could have easily kept quiet. We behave as if we are the absolute and as if we are without any blame. We fail to speak out when we have duty to speak good about others. Unfortunately, our conversational culture has become very destructive. Our presence in the church and participation in the Eucharist calls for a radical change and conversion. We also have the culture of gossiping. Pope Francis says it's another form of terrorism. We pass negative remarks, keep quiet when some negative remarks are told by somebody on others. We remain inactive and silent amid such gossips while it is killing other people. There is gossip everywhere, in our interpersonal relationship, amidst our families, in our communities, and also in our society. Any negative spoken against the person in his or her absence is equal to poisoning and pouring out the poison poured into our hearts and minds. This is a dangerous sickness. This creates enmity, which creates negative and creates violence, even war. The persons who gossip have their hidden agenda, planned underground politics to have the personal advantage from gossips. There is an incident in the life of Socrates. Once a man who was known for gossiping came to Socrates and was about to tell something negative about the third person. Immediately, Socrates told, before you start to tell about that particular person to me, I want to know three things from you. Are you 100% sure of what you are going to speak about him or her to me? If not, don't tell me. Are you going to tell anything good about that person? If so, tell. Don't tell any negative. Thirdly, is it what you are going to say of any use to me? If not, don't tell me. Dear friends, the gossiper, the speaker, definitely has a hidden role. Such gossips have created unwanted bitterness and have even killed persons. Hence, gossiping is criminal. Unfortunately, we keep quiet in time of such negative propaganda about others. Jesus today calls for a change of lifestyle. Dear friends, the gossiper has a definite plan to spoil others' name. Gossiping is criminal. Unfortunately, we keep quiet in time of such negative propaganda about others. Jesus calls us for a change in our mindset and build better community, better family life, and better society. In the third imagery, Jesus speaks about good tree bearing good fruits. This is a reminder that our goodness should not stop with self-centered goodness, peaceful within, and without any active contribution into the life of others. Christianity is not a passivity nor inaction. It leads us to active involvement into the struggles of others and the needs of others, to care for others. Hence, gospel reminds us of the living out of our goodness with our fruits in action, concrete action. Biblical invitations, both in the New Testament and Old Testament, are always to respond to the cry of the poor, the anavim, the orphans, the widows, and the strangers. Jesus explains clearly how the final judgment will be based on the concrete action towards the marginalized. Unfortunately, our charity is limited to our own friends, our own kith and kin. Rarely it goes to those who cannot see us, those who cannot say thanks to us, those who are offending us. We don't want to extend our love and kindness to unknown people, to the most disadvantaged people who are living somewhere else. God has blessed us with abundance, not only with money and materials, but also abundance of compassion, kindness, forgiveness. Let us prove our discipleship of Jesus Christ in doing good works, being generous to others, especially those who are in need. In this week, let us remember 2 or 3 specific concrete persons who have spoken ill of you and entertained gossip against you. Reconcile with those persons and build up optimism in life. Create optimism in the family, in our community, in our society at large. Amen.